Mankind, since ages, has been pursuing faiths, materials, greed, and salvation. In pursuit of their specific goals, civilizations have evolved or perished. Several religions emerged, and each one prescribed its own path in the pursuit of the ultimate supreme being. But there has also been a different path across all faiths, the path of absolute surrender and divine love. This path always existed even before God was conceived by mankind or codified in any religion. The path of absolute surrender not only engulfs the religions but also makes the differences between nations, cultures, and languages irrelevant. Kailash has been a witness to this universal truth since the beginning of the civilization. All factors that divide mankind on the basis of geography or political boundaries end here. Kailash beautifully blends three different nations: India, China, and Nepal.
Kailash, Gamari Sare, Kailash, Mavari Vasa, Kailash, Renizani Kailash, Gamari Sare, Kailash, Mavari Vasa, Kailash, Renizani Kailash.
The pilgrimage to Kailash Manasarovar is as old as the Indus Valley civilization. There have been many routes to it and several traditions associated with this yatra. One such tradition is paying homage to Pashupatinath by every yatri of Kailash Manasarovar taking the Nepal route. It is believed that Shiva came from Kailash to settle down in this valley. At this temple, the king of Nepal, who was believed to be the direct descendant of Lord Vishnu, used to worship Shiva. Shiva is loved here as Pashupatinath, the god of animals. This is the gateway to Kailash, the abode of Shiva. After paying homage to Pashupatinath, the yatra proceeds towards the China border. Kodari, the border of Nepal and China, is 120 kilometers drive from Kathmandu. The 4 hours drive is extremely pleasant alongside the fiercely flowing Botekoshi river. Crossing the border through the Friendship Bridge may not emit a very friendly feeling, but once crossed over, the warmth of the Tibetan Chinese drivers and guide is comforting. Jiangmu in China is a well-developed township. Almost anything that is missing in your travel kit can be found here.
Pashunam patim papanasham paresham, Pashunam patim papanasham paresham, Gajendrasya kritim vasanam varenam, Gajendrasya kritim vasanam varenam, Jatajut madhye spuradangavarim, Jatajut madhye spuradangavarim, Mahadev mekam smarami smararim, Mahadev.
The drive from Jiangmu to Nilam can be really tricky. Only a distance of 35 kilometers, but a steep ascent from 1800 meters at Kodari to 3750 meters at Nilam. Altitude sickness is almost certain. One needs to stay for 2 nights at Nilam to acclimatize.
Mahadev mekam smarami smararim,
Namaste, Namaste, Siddhananda.
Just at a half an hour drive from Nilam lies the cave of the Buddhist saint Milarepa, who founded Buddhism in Tibet after defeating the Bon priests. After 80 kilometers from Nilam ends the metal road. Now we have to drive 700 kilometers off-road to reach Kailash. The roads are being built really fast, and it is expected that within 2 years the entire road will be built that will ease this yatra to a great extent. The next halt, Saga, is a 275 kilometer drive from Nilam. The vastness of the Tibetan plateau takes over. The majestic snow-peak mountains all around. It is not very difficult to see various shapes and faces in these mountains depending on one's faith and degree of surrender. Such majestic sights all along makes this tough journey enjoyable. There are many lakes in the Tibetan plateau. This one is Pegutso, a lake revered by the Buddhists. Saint Milarepa had meditated here. What makes one wonder is that despite being in almost identical geological conditions, all other lakes are saline, only Manasarovar is a sweet water lake. Maybe Kailash holds the answer to this enigma. We are still ascending from 3,750 meters at Nilam towards 4,500 meters at Saga. After a few hours of drive, migraine is very natural. The drive from Nilam to Saga is really a long one. 270 kilometers on tough terrain with infinite horizons. The initial drive is very pleasant, and small settlements in between come as a respite to the tired eyes. Midway, the drive along the Brahmaputra river is very pleasant. It is hard to believe that the same river, on reaching Assam in India, becomes so fierce. Here, she is in her infancy. With almost everyone suffering from headache, finally arrives Saga, the beautiful town at the bank of Brahmaputra river. Saga is the only town in this route where one can find the basic amenities of civilized life, including telephone and electricity. From Saga, the next drive is towards Paryang, another 250 kilometer off-road, and soon comes the desert. Desert in Tibetan plateau. Seeing is believing. It is mentioned that even the Pandavas had seen this desert during their Kailash Yatra. Nothing can match the divine beauty of Tibet. The feeling that this land invokes cannot be described in words, as if all the elements of nature are in perfect harmony in the lap of God, and the only disturbing factor here is our presence. Paryang is a small village town in the middle of the desert. Here one can refill the basic commodities. From here, a final drive of 225 kilometers towards Horkyu, and we will be seeing Holy Kailash and Manasarovar for the first time. Now we are not ascending any further, so the drive does not seem to be stiff. A variety of wildlife not seen anywhere else can be sighted here. The animalistic, joyful dance of Kyang, the rare Tibetan ass, is a fortunate scene. Not just humans, but every life form in this divine land seem to be dancing to the tune of Shiva. Black-necked crane is the rarest bird. Only 5,000 of these now remain in the whole world. Watching this majestic bird here in its homeland is a divine sight. Buddhists worship these cranes and believe that they are the messengers of the forces of nature. Birds share an inseparable bond with Holy Kailash since time immemorial. Kalidas has mentioned in Meghdut that the flying Rajhans will be one's companion till Kailash Manasarovar. Are we disturbing the divine forces of nature by being here where we don't seem to belong? The land is a bit too pious for the civilization to be allowed to interfere. Slowly, a divine silence takes over as we approach Holy Kailash, as if calmness starts flowing in and out of us.
नमामि शम्भुं पुरुषं पुराणं नमामि सर्वज्ञमपारभावम्.
At Horkyu, the first sight of Holy Kailash and the panoramic view of Manasarovar leaves one speechless. The holy mount appears to be rising straight from the core of the planet. Kailash is believed to be the epicenter of the universe, rooted in the seventh hell till the seventh heaven. Manasarovar is the navel of the earth. This ocean of sweet water is the most enigmatic creation of God. Manasarovar is believed to be created by the mind of Brahma, which is also described as Ksheer Sagar in various Hindu scriptures. In Ksheer Sagar, there was a lifeless egg floating for millions of years. With the blessings of Shiva, life started in this Ksheer Sagar out of that egg. Bhagwan Vishnu is believed to have appeared from the center of this holy lake along with goddess Lakshmi. A dip in this holy lake washes away all the sins of this and the past lives. A sip of this divine water bestows the blessings of Shiva himself. Even a mere sight of this holy lake and the holy mount frees you from the infinite cycle of birth and death. Havan at the bank of Manasarovar is a part of this yatra. This is where one feels that there is no middleman between you and God.
Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudatwaja, Mangalam Pundarikabja, Mangalaya Tanohari, Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudatwaja, Mangalam Pundarikabja, Mangalaya Tanohari, Mangalam, 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 Mangalam.
After the holy dip at Harche, parikrama of Manasarovar in clockwise direction starts. It is a drive of 125 kilometers, which is done in jeep. Some devotees do this parikrama on foot even today. The Gurula Mandata mountain is believed to be the abode of goddess Parvati, and from here comes the Rakshas star.
Om Swaha. Om Maha.
The yatris are forbidden to touch this beautiful blue lake, since Ravan, the king of Lanka, had worshipped here to please Shiva.
Om Satyam. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat.
Shiv is another night halt at the bank of Manasarovar. During the night, many yatris can claim seeing lights dropping from the sky into this holy lake, as if the angels come in the form of light to take a dip in this divine lake. The experience of every yatri varies, but sighting of such enigmatic views cannot be denied. Shiv is also the best spot to watch the moon rise above Manasarovar on a full moon night. The full moon at Manasarovar leaves an everlasting impression on one's soul. Darshan is the last town in this yatra, and it is also the base camp from where the parikrama of Kailash starts. Whichever route one might have taken to reach here, a visit to the Ashtapad is a must. Ashtapad is one of the most sacred spots in the lap of Holy Kailash. It is believed to be the place where the first Jain Tirthankar, Sri Rishabhadev, attained his nirvana. This happens to be the place where the 8 feet of Shiva is visible in the various mountains. The beautiful sight of the southern face of Holy Kailash from here is awesome. The abode of Shiva being guarded by his Nandi Parvat, the staircase to heaven through which Yudhishthir is believed to have gone to heaven, and even Adi Shankaracharya left his mortal body behind here to be one with the Supreme Force, all of it in its entire divine glory to fill the soul with the purity of the Almighty.
जय गो हे महाकाल जय गो हे महाकाल जय गो हे महाकाल जय गो हे महाकाल जय हे महाकाल जय गो हे महाकाल बिनती कर दे तो जगत के नर नारी बिनती कर दे तो जगत के नर नारी जय गो हे महाकाल जय गो हे महाकाल दिव्य ज्ञान तो आज दिव्य ज्ञान तो आज भव से करो पार दिव्य ज्ञान तो आज भव से करो पार दिव्य ज्ञान तो आज भव से करो पार जीवन के सरताज राय गो मेरी लाज जाय गो हे महाकाल जाय गो
Now for the parikrama of Kailash, we are at the Yamadwar at Tarboche. The jeeps have departed and from here starts the parikrama, all of 44 kilometers to be undertaken either on foot or on pony. It is believed that one overcomes the fear of death at the Yamadwar before starting the parikrama. And it is not just the fear of death that one overcomes by crossing the Yamadwar, but in some ways, this is where one leaves everything behind to embark on a journey where the bodily and the astral become one. The first day of the parikrama is not very difficult. From Tarboche, Derapuk is only 12 kilometers, but the thin air, the lack of oxygen and breathlessness make you believe that it is your soul that is guiding your body to do this parikrama. Whether you do this parikrama on pony or by foot, it is equally difficult. At Derapuk, the sight of the north face of Holy Kailash will leave a deep impression on one's soul forever. As such, every north face of Himalayan peak has something mystical about it. But the mystical power of the north face of Kailash is beyond description. The chain marks supposed to be created by the chains of Ravan, who tried to uproot Kailash to take it to Lanka, are clearly visible. A close look, and it is not an illusion to see several faces and figures engraved here. This holy mount has given birth to many legends. Kailash is the apparent Shivaling, and it is also perceived to be the inspiration of the Buddhist chantants worldwide. Ashwaghosh had described this in his book Bodh Charitam 2000 years back, saying that the Buddha stupa resembles the snow-clad Kailash. Some Buddhist scriptures mention that there was a very large monastery at Kailash, from where Ther Suryagut had gone to Sri Lanka along with 96,000 monks. There are many more such legends. The next day, the parikrama continues towards crossing over Dolmala. Dolma Pass, at an altitude of 5,300 meters, is the highest point of this yatra, and this also happens to be the toughest day of the whole yatra. At Dolmala, not just humans, but even the ponies, the yaks, all feel that every step that they take seems to be the last one that the body can take. The reward of crossing Dolmala is the sight of the Gauri Kund. Gauri Kund is the dedicated lake of goddess Parvati. It is said that here the mother takes bath before meeting Shiva. Some yatris like to take water from it, while many believe it to be a bit too pious for the humans to touch. Crossing over Dolmala is certainly not an easy task. While ascending, it appears to be impossible to cross over, but when descending, it seems to be even tougher. But this is where one feels a close connection with the Almighty and the presence of divine power. This is the longest day of the yatra, 24 kilometers to be covered. After crossing Dolmala and the 12 kilometers to reach Zuzulpuk, from Zuzulpuk, the last day of the parikrama, the trek back to Darshan is not very difficult. Trekking in the partially green valley alongside the beautiful Zuzulpuk river, the body is tired, but the soul is fresh like a newborn. On the completion of the parikrama, the positive energy that one brings back from Kailash can only be lived, not described. The worldly journey has to come to a completion, and the return to the civilization that we belong to is inevitable. Leaving behind this seventh heaven, we pray to retain a bit of this heaven in our not so pure lives.